Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for coming back and watching another video with me. So you guys saw the title. In this video, we are going to be talking about the next episode of the Shane, Dawson and Jeffree series that just released today, episode 4. So I'm just going to jump right into it. You guys have seen me give 2 other reviews of the Shane, Dawson and Jeffree Star series already. Go check those out if you haven't already watched those to get some updated thoughts and what my opinions on the series has been so far. So now I'm just going to go through with you guys what I think of episode 4. So episode 4, first of all, I thought episode 4 was very interesting. So episode 4, the previous 3 episodes have all started with the blank of Jeffree Star, right? Like that's been the title of the first 3 episodes. The first was The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star, The Dangerous World of Jeffree Star, and then it was something else of Jeffree Star. But all 3 episodes of the first episodes have been the blank of Jeffree Star. But this is the first episode where he didn't title it The Blank of Jeffree Star. It was the $20 million deal with Jeffree Star. Now, some people might not think that that's significant, but I actually do think that that's pretty significant because I think this is the portion of the series where Shane is making the deliberate decision that it's not just a series about Jeffree Star and Jeffree Star's life and Jeffree Star's business deals, but also about Shane. You know, the other episodes have been titled The Blank of Jeffree Star, and you get the vibe that those videos have been mostly about Jeffree Star. Not completely, because obviously the episode before this was the episode where he showed his and Ryland's engagement. That was super, super cute, by the way. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all are the most adorable couple I have ever seen. Grossly adorable. It's so freaking cute. I love them together. The way that Ryland was like looking at him when he was putting makeup on him was so freaking cute. Ryland was like looking at him with like heart eyes. I promise you, if there was like an emoji of what Ryland's face looked like when Shane was putting makeup on Ryland, it would be like heart emojis. It was so cute. But this episode I also found super, super interesting. You guys know that I think pretty much all of these episodes except for the first episode I've found pretty interesting, but this one I was like, y'all. Okay, first of all, Morphe was a very big part of this episode. Now, obviously, Jeffree Star has done partnerships with Morphe before. Jeffree Star has been partnering with Morphe for years now. Jeffree's been releasing his palette in Morphe stores, selling his palettes in Morphe stores. He's been going to Morphe openings and things like that. So Jeffree Star has had a pretty solid relationship with Morphe stores for the last several years, right? And obviously all this stuff is new to Shane, and you could kind of see that, but I think also Jeffree was kind of like taking him under his wing, and Jeffree was like, we need to make these people see our worth and see, you know, that we're special, that we're going to be able to sell these palettes, that, you know, our palette is going to be really good for Morphe. It's going to be really good for Morphe, and it's going to be really good for us. And we want a symbiotic relationship with Morphe where we are doing something for them. They're also doing things for us as well. I really liked that. And I think Shane did take it to heart. You know, I think Shane was talking a lot about, like, we have a very unique palette, and what we're giving you is very unique. And because of that, we want a very unique set of circumstances and promises from you guys. So I thought that was super, super endearing. So let's talk about the fact that like the entire Morphe deal was a lot of that was what was discussed in this episode, and then they went on. They also swatched just a few more of the eyeshadows, and they approved rather than have approved. These eyeshadows were approved, and they went out and they laid out the mini palette, and they laid out the regular palette and like the color spectrum. And, you know, they were like, we want people who are like super basic to buy this palette, but we also want some color for some people who are more exotic, because that's kind of Jeffree Star's brand. Jeffree Star has been like very encouraging of people using color in his palettes. He has a lot of palettes with a lot of different colorful shades, and so he's been kind of encouraging his viewers to use colorful shades. So they wanted some of that as well in the Shane and Jeffree palette. And I thought that was really cool when they were, and then they also swatched the lipsticks. Y'all, those lipstick shades are cute. I might have to buy me Are You Filming? Because that shade is so cute. Hello, yes please. And then Ryland's lipstick shade was really, really cute. I just thought all of the lipstick shades were like super cute. And the amount of things that they were ordering though, that sounded like a lot, but I also think we have to think. Shane Dawson is huge on the internet, like huge. So is Jeffree Star. You put the two of these people together, and I understand like when they were ordering these, they were like, yeah, this is like 3 times bigger than even Jeffree Star's biggest release to date. They were saying for Blood Sugar, which was Jeffree Star's biggest release, that he ordered 100,000 units of the Blood Sugar palette. And so they were like, okay, so obviously we're going to sell more than that because Shane himself is going to probably pull in the 6-figure range in terms of sales of palettes. So they were like, we need to order more than 100,000. They made a deal with Morphe where I believe Morphe said that they were going to purchase 500,000 units. I want to say that's the number that they offered them. That's a lot, but I also have to think, I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable about like the makeup industry and estimating how many palettes will get sold and things like that. I'm not super knowledgeable about that, but I do think that based off of Shane's popularity and Jeffree's popularity, you know, when they put Morphe's numbers together with Jeffree and Shane Dawson's numbers, like they were going to say, oh, well, if Morphe sells 500,000 and we sell 350,000, then that's going to be the, 850,000? I honestly think, you guys, and maybe I'm wrong, comment below if you think that I'm wrong, I think that they're lowballing it a little bit. I think that that's going to sell out. Like, 850,000 palettes sounds like a lot, and I do think that's a lot. Don't get me wrong. I think 850,000 palettes is a lot of palettes to sell, but based on Shane Dawson's popularity and Jeffree Star's popularity, I think they're going to surpass that. I think those 850,000 units are going to go like in this blink of an eye. It's going to be gone so fast, and you're going to have a lot of fans left wanting more products. These fans are going to be like, wow, they sold out, or these fans who don't have Morphe stores near them, who have to go through Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star's website, are going to be like, wow, I can't buy it, like I didn't get there in time. I mean, that was the same thing that happened with his merch. Can we talk about the fact that like his merch sold out in literally 20 minutes? Like, I logged on like 30 minutes after Shane posted like his link to, oh yeah, here's my merch, go buy it. 30 minutes after, and everything was sold out except for like one sweatshirt, and that wasn't the sweatshirt that I wanted. I wanted the pink sweatshirt with the pig on it, and then I also wanted the black pig backpack. Both of those things were sold out. So I was like kind of upset. I was like, why did you sell out in 20 minutes? Like, what the hell is this? And I think it was because even with Shane's merchandise, like they underestimated the amount of people that were going to want to buy Shane's merch. And it was a lot of people that wanted to buy Shane's merch, obviously. It sold out in 20 minutes. Like, that's a really fast sellout time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's the same thing that they're doing with this palette. Especially, you know, just given their popularity, I think that they are going to sell more than 850,000 units. I do. I think that their palette will probably sell out within, just like his merch, within the first, like, 30 minutes. Like, the day they drop that palette, it's selling out. Like, it's selling out for sure. So I think like they should have, I mean, and maybe they adjusted it in like later episodes or something, and maybe they said, hey, look, this palette might be bigger than we think it's going to be. Instead of 350,000 units, let's make an additional 500,000 units so that we match Morphe. And there's 500,000 units from us and 500,000 units from Morphe. 1 million units on launch day. I think they need at minimum 1 million units for the big palette at least. I'm not entirely sure on the mini palette how many people are going to, you know, make preferences for the mini palette, but I know for me personally, the mini palette probably wouldn't do it for me. Like, I would want the big palette. I would want the different pops of color and different looks that you could do with the main palette. I probably wouldn't go for the mini palette. And imagine the people that are going to go for both the big palette and the mini palette. Like, you're pulling in a lot of people, and I don't think that they are going to have enough product. I really don't. And obviously there's going to be restocks. Obviously. There's always restocks. But the thing is, restocks take like at least 2 or 3 weeks. And it's like by the time you're restocked, how many people are still like, oh, I saved all my money for launch day, but now I have to wait 3 more weeks. And am I still saving all my money? Do I still have all the money saved? Some people, no. Some people like go out and spend the money that they saved for your palette for launch day, and guess what? Because they couldn't get it on launch day, they spent it before you got the chance to restock your palettes. You know what I'm saying? And also you have to think about like the production of these palettes, how long it takes to produce these palettes. From what I get from this episode, they are talking about we're going to have 350,000 products, 350,000 palettes made for us and 500,000 palettes made for Morphe. If that's the case, y'all are going to need to start making more palettes, because as soon as launch day starts and they do sell out, which I think that they will, I'm almost positive they're going to sell out within like the first 30 minutes. Who wants to bet me on that? Also, can we talk about the fact that I mentioned in the last Shane, Dawson and Jeffree Star review that I did, I wondered if they were going to release the merch on the same day that they were going to release the makeup. And I was like, they probably will release them on different days. They'll probably release the merch on one day and the makeup on a different day. And they did. They dropped the merch first. So I was right in that case. Let's see if I'm right again on them selling out on this palette in like the first 30 minutes. And then there's going to be a lot of fans who are going to be frustrated because they're like, why would you, like 30 minutes is a really fast time to sell out. I'm not necessarily mad that they sold out of their merch, Shane's merch, in 30 minutes, but also like I was like really looking forward to ordering it. Like I didn't think I was logging on all that late. You know, I thought I was just going to be able to log on after he set his link live and it was already sold out, you know? And I think a lot of people are that way. I don't think everyone's like, oh my gosh, I have to go get it the first second it drops. Not everybody can go get it the first second it drops. Some people are busy. Some people have work and they can't go and purchase your merch or your makeup until after they get off work. Well, if they get off work 3 hours later and everything on your site is already sold out, some of those people are going to be a little salty. Like, why would you not have ordered more units? And I think in my heart of hearts that they are underestimating the amount of palettes they're going to need. In terms of liquid lipsticks, I'm not entirely sure if they're underestimating those, just because I don't know how well those are going to be sold, just because they're hyping up this palette a lot in this series, okay? The palette is the main focus of the series. Like that's what they're hyping up, it's what they're promoting, it's what they're showing you guys the steps of how to do and how to make. And yes, the liquid lipsticks, they're also doing that. But I think that because they're hyping the palette up so much, the palette is obviously what most people are going to go for, and then the liquid lips are kind of for people who like have some extra cash to spend and really want to support Jeffree and Shane, are going to buy the liquid lips, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not sure how many people that's going to be, you know what I mean? So they might be fine on the liquid lips. They probably will sell out on those too, though. Like I said, I'm really interested in some of the liquid lip shades. And if it's at a reasonable price, I probably would buy some of the liquid lip shades. If I get there fast enough, if I get on the site fast enough before everything is already sold out. So that's just going to be that. I did think, you guys, that the episode was very, very interesting. I was super interested when they were talking with the Morphe team and they were having this phone call about what they would expect from Morphe and giving Morphe the exclusive deal of they're only going to offer the palette in Morphe stores and then on the Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson website. Like, they're not going to offer any of their products for the Shane collection anywhere else other than those two locations, Morphe or the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star store. I know for me personally, I'm in Virginia right now. The closest Morphe store is 150 miles away. So I know I ain't getting anything from Morphe. If I order something, which I plan on it, I plan on ordering the palette and I plan on ordering a couple of the liquid lipsticks. If I get anything, it's going to have to be from the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star website. And I think a lot of people are in those shoes just because while Morphe has a lot of stores, you guys, and they do, Morphe is growing, obviously, they have a lot of stores, but they don't have as many stores as like a Sephora or an Ulta. Like, they're not all over the nation, like in every single state. You can find an Ulta within a 50-mile radius of anywhere that you are. it's not the same thing for Morphe. Like, Morphe is, you can find Morphes in like the big cities, maybe even outside of the big cities a little bit, but they're clustered. They're in places where there is demand for Morphe stores. And in the places where there's not necessarily demand for Morphe stores, then there's not Morphe stores. Like I said, the closest Morphe store to where I am is 150 miles away. So, you know, there's going to be people all over the country who that's the case for. They're not going to be able to go to a Morphe store. So their only option for getting this Dawson and Jeffree Star makeup palette or liquid lipsticks or lip glosses is going to have to be through the Shane Dawson and through Jeffree Star's website. So I think it's going to be interesting, though. I did really enjoy the episode. I thought it was super, super cute how they were like swatching the different lipsticks and lip glosses. I also thought, you guys, they threw a little bit of shade in there. Like, first of all, let's talk about it, because they were like, oh, I think that they're nervous. They were talking about Morphe. And Jeffree goes, I think that they're nervous about us releasing in November because Jaclyn Hill is supposedly having a collaboration with them that's also going to be released in November. So I think that they're nervous about us releasing something around the same time as another YouTuber, another beauty influencer. Super shady. Can we just that was very shady of Jeffree to say. Now, it might be true, but also, can we talk about, how does Jeffree Star know these things? Like, how do you know what date Jaclyn Hill set her Morphe collaboration release for? First of all, how do you even know Jaclyn Hill has a Morphe collaboration release? Because none of us show did. If she's releasing the shit in November, she hasn't mentioned this to anyone. She has not mentioned on any of her social medias, she has not mentioned any sort of upcoming collaboration with Morphe. So I think, y'all, now this is a little rare. I do think including that in Shane's series is a little disrespectful. If it is true that Jaclyn Hill has a collaboration with Morphe coming up, for you to drop that in your series rather than letting Jaclyn Hill herself drop that information, that's a little disrespectful. Like, why would you do that? She clearly has not told the rest of the world that she has a collaboration with Morphe coming out anytime soon. And for you to throw that in your, series because you want, I understand that he wants to, show everything and, show all of the conversations that have happened, but that's still a little rude. Like, you didn't have to put that in there and, tell the world that Jaclyn Hill has a collaboration with Morphe coming out when Jaclyn hasn't even mentioned that to anyone herself. Like, she hasn't mentioned that. That's just mean. Like, why you wouldn't want anyone else who had your information about when you're releasing a palette or who you're collaborating with going out and saying, oh yeah, Shane Dawson is dropping a Morphe palette in November, and Shane Dawson hasn't mentioned anything about it yet. Like, that would be disrespectful. That would be rude. Like, why would you do that? I feel like, and I don't think that Shane did it intentionally. Like, I don't think that he thought that it would be, rude or disrespectful. I think that he just wanted to include, everything in this series in terms of what it takes to make a palette, and he kind of just threw that in there because that was obviously a conversation that occurred on the day of this Morphe call. But at the same time, Jaclyn Hill, if she has watched this series, or even if she hasn't, I'm sure people have been tweeting her or commenting on her Instagrams or Snapchatting her or whatever to let her know that Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star just leaked that she has a collaboration coming with Morphe. Now, y'all, people has been suspecting, though. People have been suspecting that she has something coming up with Morphe for a while now, since she fucked up on her lipsticks. After she fucked up on her lipsticks, literally 2 or 3 months later, she started promoting Morphe again, pushing Morphe, promoting it here, promoting it there, promoting it on Twitter, promoting it on Instagram, talking about how much she loves Morphe products, how much she loves Morphe brushes and all of her videos and all these things. So she's been pushing Morphe since 2 or 3 months after her lipsticks failed. So I think she has been probably working on this collaboration with Morphe since probably before her lipsticks even dropped, before her lipsticks started getting all this backlash, she was probably working with Morphe before that, but she wanted to have her moment for her lipsticks, so she wasn't pushing Morphe as much when she was like putting out her own products under her own brand. But after her own brand failed, then she started pushing Morphe again, because she's like, okay, well, I still have a collaboration in the works with Morphe. I'm going to start pushing them again, make sure that people know that morphesthebomb.com, so that when I put my shit out and I announce that I'm going to do a collaboration with Morphe, people are going to be all excited, people are going to go buy it, people are going to love it, people are going to, review it, and the reviews are going to be glowing. So I think that was her plan all along. But even though people have been suspecting is the key word, that she has a collaboration with Morphe coming up, she has not said anything. So I just think it's really shady and kind of disrespectful for you to put it in your series, dropping someone else's information and someone else's release date on when their collaboration of whatever they're putting out, whatever makeup product they're putting out, is coming out. That's not your area to talk about, to announce to the world. It's kind of just, like I said, kind of just rude, And I honestly, they were making a big deal about if you release your palette around the same time as another YouTube beauty influencer, honestly, it does not matter. People would still buy your shit. Stop acting like people would not still buy your palettes. They would just buy them both. It's not like a Jaclyn Hill palette dropping around the same time as your palette is somehow going to take away from your sales. I don't think that at all. I think if y'all dropped a palette on the same day, it would not take away from Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson's palette sales at all. I don't think it would matter. I think the people who are going to buy the Shane Dawson or Jeffree palette are going to buy the palette. The people who are going to buy whatever collaboration that Jaclyn Hill has with Morphe are going to buy whatever collaboration that she has with Morphe, or the people who want both are going to buy both. That's it. It's that simple. It's not that complicated. It's not that deep. I don't think she's going to be stealing business from you guys if you release around the same time. And that was another thing. People thought when Tati released that Tati was coming out with her eyeshadow palette, that she was throwing shade, because obviously she's coming out with this eyeshadow palette right before Jeffree and Shane are also coming out with their eyeshadow palette. I don't think she was throwing shade. I think, look, she has been planning to come out with this eyeshadow palette for a long time. Obviously, it's been in the works for a long time. The formulas have been in the works, and the packaging has been in the works. And Tati is not someone who does things half-assed. I'm sure this stuff has been planned at least a year in advance. So I don't think that she was like, oh, I'm gonna drop my palette right before Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson's palette, so everybody buys my palette first and nobody buys their palette. No, I don't think that was how it was. I think when she started production of her palette, she had a timeline, and her timeline happened to fall at the end of October, and that was when she decided that she was going to put her palette out. I don't think that was shade. I don't think that was being disrespectful. I don't think that she was doing it as a mean or hateful thing towards Shane Dawson or Jeffree Star. I think she was really excited for her palette, and she, wanted to release her palette in October, and that's her prerogative, that's her business. I'm not gonna down talk that, obviously. And here's the thing, y'all, I'm gonna practice what I preach. I'm gonna buy the Tati palette, and then 2-3 weeks later, I'm gonna buy the Shane and Jeffree palette. It's not that serious, it's not that deep, it's not taking, sales away from anyone else. I'm just gonna buy them both. It's not that difficult. If you want both, you're gonna get both. You know what I'm saying? I think people were blowing it way out of proportion that Tati chose to release her palette around the same time that this Shane and Jeffree palette is coming out. I don't think it was shade. I think it was just how the timetable of what she was producing worked. But again, I could be wrong. Let me know your opinions down below. If you think that I'm incorrect, if y'all think that Tati did it deliberately or something, let me know in the comments that you guys think that. Maybe I'll change my mind, maybe I won't. Yeah, we can have a discussion. I can tell you whether or not I agree or disagree with what you guys have to say. You can tell me whether or not you agree or disagree with what I have to say as well. So I think that's it for this review. I don't think I have anything else to say. I did enjoy it. I think I'm probably going to enjoy all of the episodes in this series here forward. I think that the first episode was just an exception because the first episode was rather boring. I did think that it was interesting, though, that when they did, like, a walkthrough of the house that they moved out of, Shane and Ryland's house that they moved out of, and they were, like, getting all nostalgic about it. I thought that that was, like, super cute. And the amount of money, y'all, that they, like, are projected to make off of this palette is insane. Like, hello, $17.5 million in sales. Like, hello, what? That's a lot. That's a lot. So they're gonna probably make some hella bank off of this. I'm not gonna lie, they most likely will. I think Shane, he was kind of like nervous about what would happen if he couldn't sell those amounts of things, but I don't think that's the case. I think Shane has always been like that. He's always been like, oh, what if people don't watch my videos? What if people don't, like, buy what I have to sell? Like, people aren't gonna like it, blah, blah, blah. And then millions and millions and millions of people end up buying it, and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. It's like, you do this every time. Like, millions of people are gonna buy your shit. Stop acting like they're not. Stop acting like you think that, like, nobody's gonna buy it. Like, you know that people are gonna buy this palette. Stop acting like they're not. Okay, you're making a 9-part series about the making of this palette, and you seriously want to act like nobody's gonna buy it? Are you crazy? Yes, okay, because obviously people are gonna want to buy it. Like, don't play. So I thought that that was, like, really interesting. I was like, Shane, stop acting like you think that people ain't gonna want to buy this palette, because this palette is gonna sell out. Okay, y'all probably are not making enough of these palettes, so quit it. Right? Okay, so yes, that's my thoughts and opinions on episode 4 of the series. Of course, I will make another video on episode 5 of the series when that drops. See you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye.